Please. Dear Minister, I address you today with an issue that can no longer be postponed. We remember back in the 80s when 4 hippos were introduced to Colombia as part of an illegal import from drug trafficker Pablo Escobar. How is it possible that 40 years later, we continue to see hippos running wild around Colombia's most important river? Our already vulnerable native species are unequally competing with this massive mammal, which has been able to expand in an ideal predator-free and Africa-like ecosystem. Then we see how a no management scenario suggests that in 20 years, we will have 1,400 hippos colonizing the river to the north, critically affecting water quality and eroding agricultural lands. This issue is exacerbated due to the fact that not only local communities have been benefited from the tourism this exotic species generates, but also because sensitive stakeholders such as NGOs and general public have joined the conversation and delayed implementation of any control efforts. However, I don't think we want to wait for another 20 years when solutions are no longer feasible. So what should be done? Dear Minister, here I present to you different strategies with their respective advantages and disadvantages. The first strategy discussed involves confining the individuals. Even though this can help to control population expansion, population growth will still be an issue. In addition, it requires high logistics and highly specialized confinement. This option might no longer be feasible to control the current population numbers. Then we have two types of castration. Both can help control population growth. However, physical castration is the most expensive and logistically challenging of all strategies. On the other hand, even though chemical castration requires fewer logistics and is a cheaper alternative, it has been never tried before in this species. Finally, culling, the most contested but most cost-effective strategy, has been scientists' most supportive alternative, as it allows to completely eradicate the species from the wild. However, not only community stakeholders highly opposed to these strategies, to this practice, but current legislation actually prohibits the culling of these animals. Then I propose to you a combination of strategies for you to consider and hopefully act upon immediately. As first measure, the Ministry of Environment must promote new legislation where controlled culling is allowed. A plan where 30 individuals are culled per year will ensure the eradication of wild populations in less than 10 years. In the meantime, individuals located closer to communities must be confined and subsequently castrated in order to obtain a reduced and controlled population. At the same time, strong education campaigns and scientific divulgation must occur with the local communities and sensitive stakeholders, where a transition towards a native ecosystem tourism is encouraged and supported by national and local government. Then, the remaining enclosed and sterilized population will allow a progressive adaptation toward these alternative touristic opportunities. We have been looking at the problem for 30 years, and information is sufficient to act. And here, we must choose to protect our ecosystems. Thank you very much.